definitely need to know about. And if you don't know about this, it's probably going to hurt everything that you're doing. So if you have negative items on your credit, collections, charge-offs, repos, foreclosures, you name it, even inquiries. If you don't know about the real, true credit repair process and what happens with your disputes when they get to the bureaus, then it's just going to end up hurting you. And obviously, I don't want that. So we're going to go over this. Yes, we've gone over this. I've been doing this for 12 years, 9 years on YouTube, 1,200 videos. So obviously, I've talked about this somewhere down the line, but we're going to talk about it again. Why? Because all last week, I got a ton of calls about, people needing help, but they don't understand the actual credit repair process. They don't know that when your letters get to the bureaus, there's no actual people who open up those letters. Hey, believe it or not, everything is run via automation, including the actual investigation. Okay, so that is why we're going to go over this. And yes, I have some things to write on the board, but hopefully my mic will be able to pick up everything. Okay, now first things first, smash that like. Why? Because, hey, you know what? You're going to help me out, and in return, I'm giving you free information. How about that, right? I mean, what does it hurt? So anyways, if you want to see if I can do a credit sweep for you because you don't want to handle any of this and you don't give a crap about the credit repair process itself, then head over to that link right there, my740.com, schedule a call with me. I will see if I can help. But this is what happens when your letter gets to the credit bureaus, okay? First of all, there are no people. I already said that. Second, a machine actually opens up your letter and scans, number one, the envelope, and number two, the letter into the system. And then there's something called OCR, right? It's the same thing as you use your scanner at home to, scan this picture. Now, the OCR in your scanner is then going to read this text, or maybe even, if you're using Photoshop or Adobe or whatever, it's going to actually read that text on there. And so it's going to know that this says, create the perfect dispute letter every single time, right? And then you can, edit it and whatnot, right? Now, with the credit bureaus, this is what happens after that. And this is where people get stuck. And this is the reason why you are not removing negative items from your credit. You see, it's just like college, right? In college, what happens? You write your own essay and, hey, they can't match it against anybody else's essays, right? So all of these, here's your essay, here's his essay, here's her essay, and they're all totally completely different. Everybody is fine. Now, what happens if this person and this person either have the same essay, or the text is very similar, or it matches kind of like in the paragraph and phrasing to somebody who wrote something a couple of years ago? Let's just say some nerd who, in calculus or something, right? Because, otherwise, who does calculus? I don't. Anyways, I don't need it for this. I crunch numbers, but not those types of numbers. Anyways, so they're going to know that you cheated because this system is able to read your word for word letter, right? So the credit bureaus use a system exactly like this, and you are not going to fool the system, okay? Yeah, there's letter spinners and all that kind of stuff, but you know what? We're not going to talk about that today, okay? Either way, you need to write your own dispute letter from the information on your credit report. And yes, the bureaus know when you are, surfing the web, pulling up these VOD letters and these 1681 letters and these 609 letters and all of that. No. Those are not the letters that we want to send, okay? So you send it out, it gets to the bureaus, they read that letter, and then it goes into what? What happens? Do you know the answer to it? Well, eOscar is the electronic system that basically sends that over to the data furnisher, to Capital One, to Credit One, to whoever, right? Portfolio Recovery. And their computer basically communicates with the credit bureaus, and they say, hey, you know what? Here we go, we got two different colors. These are the bureaus and these are the data furnishers. The bureaus send your entire letter over in a 2 to 3 digit code per each account over to the data furnisher, right? And they say, hey, is this the information that you have? And they say, yes, that is the information that that we have, because we're the ones that sent it over to you. And they're like, great, it matches. Hey, guess what? Verified is accurate. Right? Now, is there a way to fool this system? No, only a fool tries to fool the system. The astute consumer, the smart consumer, the one that uses factual disputes in Metro 2 and all that kind of stuff, and knows how to use violations and all of that, they're the ones that they don't fool the system. No, they beat the system, and they beat the system by using their own information against them. Why do we want to go through this circle? Why do we want to send a letter over to the bureaus? The bureaus then read the letter and they say, oh, yep, this has been sent to us 10,000, 100 fazillion times. No, you don't want to do that. Did you know that this is literally what happens? There's no 14 people sitting around at us saying, hey, Julie, we got another one. Here you go. Here, go investigate this. No. And yes, you might be thinking that, hey, well, if I write it in, I don't know, red pen or blue pen, or I staple it, or I drop coffee on it, then I'm going to fool the system and it's going to have to go to a person. But guess what? That person is also, my friend, going to turn it into a 2 to 3 digit code, and wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. It's going to go over to that data furnisher, no matter what, okay? You are not going to fool the system. Our job is not to fool the system. It is to beat the system, and the way that we beat the system is by understanding the system, okay? Now, what do? So, Kristen, basically you're telling me that I, have to figure out word for word how to write a dispute letter? Yeah, you do, yeah. And I literally spell it out for you, and you can access this. I didn't put it down in the description on this one, but I went live 2 days ago, and I gave you a ton of resources, including this, and this one is going to be sendme2.co/ultimate-guide. You can also get the hard copy, but the link is in the description of the live that I did 2 days ago, okay? This literally walks you through exactly how to write your own dispute letter using the information on your credit report. Literally, perfect dispute letter every single time. Now, no, I'm not trying to sell you a product on this. What I'm saying is I don't want you to get caught up in this just because you didn't know about it, because you can't just say, oh, I didn't know about it, so blah, blah, blah. Hey, guess what? Longer you dispute, the harder it is to remove those negatives, and I don't know who's telling you that, oh, this is just so simple. Like, if it were that simple, then why do they need to read the letter? Why doesn't it just scan the letter and say, oh, we have negatives. Let's get rid of them. Got this one, let's get rid of it. Got this one, let's get rid of it. Got this one, let's get rid of it. No. This is not a simple system. This is not a simple process. If it were that simple, they would simply give you your house or your car, right? And if it were like that, then why isn't credit repair in the same offices as dealerships and mortgages? Because that's the one thing that's missing in this entire process, right? You don't get qualified for a mortgage because you either A, have bad credit, or you have things on your credit that won't get you qualified, or B, that you don't financially qualify. Now, obviously, I can't help you with that, but maybe by helping you fix your credit or doing it for you, again, my740.com, that can also help you with your financial situation, right? So, no, this is literally one thing that's missing from the mortgage process, the dealership process, if you go in and get a vehicle and all that kind of stuff. They live off commission. I used to work at Niemer Volkswagen in Troy, New York. Latham, New York on Troy Schenectady Road. And I worked there for a couple of years as accounts payable receivable, and I also sold cars there, right? And when I was selling cars, I did pretty well. Like, I've been in sales my entire life. And what people don't understand is that when you live off commission and you don't get paid per hour like a regular hourly worker, right? Maybe, they pay, throw you a couple bones here and there, right? And pizza on Saturdays. But besides that, if you don't sell a car, you don't get paid. If you don't sell cars, you get fired, right? And so if credit is the one thing that's holding people back from getting these vehicles, these things that actually get them from point A to B so that they can go make money, right, and pay their bills and all that kind of stuff. Don't you think they'd have someone like me, not in the accounts payable office, but actually helping the finance manager get these people qualified by removing their negative items, right? Because that would be so great. I know I'm getting a commission for the credit repair, and I know I'm getting a commission on this vehicle. I would have never gotten out of sales if it were like that. You see what I'm saying? Same thing with mortgage, right? What's the one thing that's missing from the mortgage process? When you go to get a mortgage, like when we bought this house, on Zoom from Las Vegas, believe it or not, we actually had them refer to us somebody for the inspection, someone for this, someone for that, the mortgage attorney, blah, 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 even a landscaper, right? Everything except for literally, shutting us in the front door. What's missing from that process? Well, we didn't need it, obviously, but if we had, let's say we had a late payment, we had a medical collection we didn't know about, tax lien on there, whatever, right? That we would have needed someone to help us quickly remove negative items so that we could pre-qualify and then, pre-approval and then go get our house and then actually close on our house. But that's the one thing that's missing from that process. So no, it's not simple. Yes, there is a process, and it's literally just one computer talking to another saying, hey, yes, that is the information that we have. So the entire moral of this story is, do not just aimlessly go and find letters that can be sent out to the credit bureaus, because it's not going to work in your favor. You need to know exactly why you're sending that letter, and every single word on that letter needs to belong there. If it doesn't belong there, don't send it out. Get rid of those pursuant tos and my intention and blah, blah, blah. It's actually illegal to say that that your intention is to sue if your intention really is not to sue. Okay, so just keep that one in mind. Now, pausing right there real quick, I have a video that's coming out later tonight. I still have to record it. If you have collections, you are going to want to know about these top collection tactics, and I give you the full VOD breakdown validation of that. So you're going to want to make sure that you are subscribed and notified so that when that drops, you get the goods, because we're first going to go over it and then I'm going to give you the link, right? Can't give you everything for free. I mean, hey, what kind of business owner would I be, right? But anyways, so how do you stop this process from happening? Because there's no way for you to make it so that a computer doesn't read your letter. I mean, the bureaus get 1.5 million disputes per month per bureau. 1.5 million per month per bureau, right? Bet you didn't know that. Did you know that prior to the pandemic, it was only like 50,000? So that's like, what, I don't know, however many per day. I mean, it's really not that many. And then the pandemic happened, and there were 6 million people that didn't pay their mortgages, and there were 14.7 million people who didn't pay their credit cards, and there was another 7 million people who didn't pay their auto loans. And then now you have all these people who are late, they're getting repoed, they're not paying their bills, they're losing their jobs, all that kind of stuff, because, well, we can't go anywhere, we can't do anything. Like, how do you want me to make money, right? And so it went from being just however it was to being like this, 1.5 million disputes per month per bureau. So obviously there's no people that are reading your letters. Obviously it's all part of an automation system. And that also brings me to, if you are disputing online, you're going directly into their automation system. Anything that looks like it is a convenience to you is really a convenience to them, the bureaus, the creditors, the collectors. And you just make it so easy for them to be like, fine, without any sort of investigation. You don't want to do that. You do not want to put yourself in that situation. So what do? I am going to tell you exactly what you need to do. There's no way to get them to stop using automation to read your letter, right? Granted, okay. But what if your letter didn't look like anybody else's letter, right? Because what happens, and this is the most important part, let me draw it first. Don't go anywhere. Like, seriously, stay here. This is super important. So we're going to draw this. Let me just get rid of this. Okay, here's the deal. We're going to use red. This is really important, all right? We have your letter. We have the system. How do I want to do this? Okay, so this is your letter right here. This is you. And this is the database of millions and millions of other letters that have been previously submitted by you and millions of people, right? So when that system reads your letter, they are matching it against this database of millions of other dispute letters, okay? This is what I was talking about in the beginning. So if you have your first paragraph matches, the phrasing matches, all that kind of stuff. If it matches, it's verified. There's no investigation. You didn't pass go. You didn't get green. You didn't do any of that. You got screwed, and they say verified without any sort of investigation. How do you know that they did that? Well, you send your letter, and a couple days later, you have a response. How is it that you had 30 days to do an investigation, and yet a couple days after I send you my dispute, I already have an answer back? Well, hey, that is because, my friend, they did not investigate, okay? And that is also your proof. They didn't change the date last reported. They didn't put the notice of dispute. They didn't do any of these things, and now they also didn't investigate. So what do? You need to make sure that when you write that letter, when you send that letter, it has zero of anything unless you know what you are doing and sending that matches anything that could potentially be in this database. It's not just your letters that they're matching. It's millions and millions and millions of other dispute letters. No, I'm not yelling at you. I'm here to help you, okay? I just want for you to make sure that you understand this process, okay? So when you send out your dispute, you need to make sure that you are writing it right then based off the credit report information, and you're not copying and pasting from other disputes. You're not sending out a 609, you're not sending out a 1681, you're not sending out any of those things unless you actually know how to use them, why you're using it, and that it's actually going to work. Because otherwise, you're going to be stuck in that whole, we're not going to reinvestigate. We already investigated. You said the same thing over and over and over again. Like, what do you want from us? Okay. So that is my advice for you today. I hope you have a great day. And yes, that rhymed. If you need help and you don't want to deal with this because you don't understand it, go to my740.com. I will help you if I can. All right. So again, the credit repair system is, credit dispute system is very convoluted. It's also very, very simple. The bureaus want to do whatever they can to cheaply and as quickly get rid of you, because remember, they make money off of reporting this information. Once they are no longer reporting this information, they no longer get paid, and therefore they have zero incentive to remove your negative items, right? So this time I really am going to end it because that was already supposed to be the end of this. So I hope you have a great day. Smash that like, subscribe if you haven't done so. And again, I have a video coming out for you later today about removing collections, literally everything that I know about removing collections, including the validation of debt and violations and all of this awesome sauce, okay? And you're also going to get a copy of the playbook if you want it, all right? So that is it for today. Have a great day, and I will see you later or tomorrow, whatever. It all depends on if you come back, all right? So that's it.